welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher. So let's jump right into it. We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. Another week, another list. What is going on YouTube? It is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles, and thank you for joining me for another video here on the channel. You guys know this is my absolute favorite video to do. But before we get started in this one and break everything down, I want to remind you guys, if you're not a current subscriber of the channel, do me a favor, go ahead, click that sub button for me, tap that like button, and let's give this goddamn Iron Man 1 away once we hit 5,000 subs. That's right, 4,100 and change. Thank you guys for everything, but let's work on this next one. I can't wait to give this sucker away. With that said, guys, let's get into this week's breakdown. At the 10 spot this week is a copy of Incredible Hulk number 340 in this iconic cover by the great Todd McFarlane in a CGC 9.6, just sold last week for $450, up 3% over the average. We also had a CGC 9.4 sell for $275, also up 3% over the average. You guys know I absolutely love Todd. I absolutely love this cover. One is his best to date. However, I only want to own this book in a 9.8. I don't want to spend the money on any other grades. If you want to own this book, be my guest, but for me, it's 9.8 or bust, so I'd be staying away. Coming in at number 9 this week, in a book that has never appeared on this list before, it is a copy of Batman Harley Quinn number 1 and the first appearance of Harley Quinn in the main DC storyline in a CGC 9.8, just sold last week for $780, up 21% over the average. If you've been watching my channel religiously, you know I'm not a huge fan of Batman Adventures number 12, but this book in a CGC 9.8, I am definitely a buyer of. It's a little bit scarce, a book I definitely want in the collection. I think it's also highly sought after by a lot of collectors out there, so yes, I'm giving a thumbs up on this one. At the 8th spot this week is one of my all-time favorite Amazing Spider-Man keys. It is a copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 50 and the first appearance of the Kingpin. Everybody knows when I talk about this book, I talk about the trifecta, the first appearance of the Kingpin, the classic cover by John Romita, and the amazing storyline Spider-Man No More, and a CGC 8.5, just sold last week for $5,100, up 13% over the average. We also had a CGC 6.0 sale for $1,425, up 3% over the average. I'm finally happy to see this book back in this list, going up in value again. There was a time where it's just getting crushed month after month. Again, I love this book. You guys know I'm a fan of anything Silver Age Amazing Spider-Man, but this one is truly worth it. Thumbs up from me. Coming in at number 7 this week, and our first pre-code horror book on the list for quite a while, it is Crime Suspense Stories number 19 and this awesome pre-code horror comic. This book was referenced in Seduction of the Innocent and led to the creation of the Comics Code Authority. The story depicts a man pouring poison used to kill his wife down a drain and avoids being charged with murder. Sounds like my type of guy. Either way, a CGC 7.5 just sold last week for $1,440, up 315% since 2014. There was also a CGC 4.0 sale for $700, up a whopping 54% since September. All pre-code horror right now is super hot, along with some other golden age keys. I love these iconic covers, but I don't want to pony up the money to own them. If you're a huge pre-code horror fan and a collector of them, yes, this book is a must-have to get in your collection. For me, I'm just not interested. At the 6th spot on this list is the Sentry number 1 and the first appearance of the Sentry. This is also the first appearance of the Void, the dark aspect of the Sentry, and a CGC 9.8 just sold the prior week for $405, up 8% over the average. Now, this book has been on and off the list for the better part of 2 months. You guys know there are rumors out there saying the Sentry is going to be the antagonist in the Thunderbolts movie, but that is not confirmed. Either way, I enjoy the character, but I don't want to spend $400 on a 9.8 copy of this one. I'm not a buyer here of this book. Wait till after that movie, if it does happen, to see if they do the character right, and if then you're a buyer, be my guest. Coming in at number 5 this week is a copy of Something is Killing the Children, number 1, and the first appearance of Erica Slaughter, and a CGC 9.8, just sold last week for $818, up 11% over the average. There's rumors out there right now that writers have been hired to adopt this comic for a TV show on Netflix. Now again, this book has been going up and up and up. Everybody seems to love this storyline. I'm not too familiar with it, but regardless, I don't want to spend $800 on a modern key. However, I will say this. It is to each his own with this book. If that show comes out and it is a success, which everyone expects it to be, this could be another The Last of Us American Dream #1. That book at a 9.8 is roughly $1,500. For me, I'm a no-go, but for you, it may be a maybe. At the 4 spot is what else? The Last of Us American Dreams #1 and the prequel comic released 2 months prior to the iconic video game, and a CGC 9.8 just sold the prior week for $1,450, up 16% over the average, but down from the high of the past 2 weeks of $1,500. I'm going to say it to you again. I'm not a buyer at $1,500. Again, the show may be awesome. The video game was awesome. Regardless, I am not a buyer of this book. I think it's too much money to spend on a 9.8 copy of a modern key. Coming in at number 3 is one of my all-time favorite Silver Age undervalued books. It is a copy of Iron Man #1 and the first appearance of Iron Man in his own solo title. This also features the origin of Iron Man, and you know it is the 100% giveaway that I'm giving away once we get to 5,000 subs, and a CGC 7.0 just sold last week for $1,450, up 28% over the average. We also had a CGC 5.0 sale for $690, up 3% over the average. Another Silver Age beauty that I'm happy to see is going up in value right now. Not too sure why, but I've always said this book is so undervalued for what it is. You guys know I'm 100% a buyer of this one. I love this book. I'm happy to see it go up, and I'm definitely a buyer, and I still think it's way too cheap. God damn it, back at number 2 this week, and on this list for a better part of 2,795 weeks, it is a copy of Omega Man #3 and the first appearance of Lobo, and a CGC 9.8 just sold last week for $400, up 19% over the average, but down from the all-time high of $450. You guys know I like the character, but I don't want to spend $400 on this book, and it seems like it's been on the list for almost half the year already. Again, we haven't cracked that $450 mark, I don't think, and again, I'm still so many copies are being sold. Why do you want to go out and keep buying it? People are just shuffling this book back and forth because there are so many copies. Stay away from this one. The character is awesome, and I think James Gunn is going to do a heck of a job with him, but I just can't see spending that kind of money. And at the top spot, a new #1 this week is All-Star Comics #58 and the first appearance of Power Girl, a Kryptonian cousin of Earth 2 Superman, and a CGC 9.8 just sold last week for $2,295, up only 1% over the average. We also had a CGC 9.0 sale for $280, up 21% over the average. So why is this book at the top spot at only up 1% over the average at a 9.8? Something's fishy to me. I'm not too sure. Regardless, I think it's way too much money to spend on the first appearance of Power Girl. I will say this is the type of character that James Gunn will succeed with. But either way, I don't want to spend that kind of money. Buy the book for $100, keep it in the collection, and we'll see what happens. Hope you guys enjoyed this list. It is now time for my best buy of the week. And you guys know, once this book was on it, you know what it was going to be. Amazing Spider-Man #50 and the trifecta, first appearance with the Kingpin, iconic cover, and of course, amazing storyline. I had to put it as my best buy. I still think this book is undervalued, even though Iron Man #1 came close second on this list. Regardless, ASM 50, always a good buy. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.